Well, good morning everybody. Here we are in the first week of November, and normally at this time I'll recount some sporting achievements in the month since my previous blog, often ending with an impassioned plea for the mighty West Ham to please win a game to give us a bit of a lift. But here we are as England is about to enter lockdown 2. Our friends and colleagues in Wales are already in their version of lockdown 2. Our friends and colleagues up in Scotland are equally in their version of lockdown 2. You know what? It just doesn't seem appropriate. It just didn't seem appropriate for me to rattle on about sport. So you know what? I think it's time for another one of my in practice video blogs, and this one's entitled "Remember, the 5th of November, Lockdown 2020." Well, as I say, here we are in the first week of November, and lockdown 2 is about to start on the 5th November. And already the calls are coming in from the clients, aren't they, concerning the extension of the furlough scheme, goodbye to the job support scheme, which, don't worry, that's coming back later on, changes to the self-employed SEISS scheme. And we're getting all manner of calls, aren't we? It's all coming in. Our inboxes are filling up, and lots of questions being asked. And accountants around the country are delving into the legislation, having a look what's checking on hm.gov and looking at all their trusted sites, working out what they're going to be saying to and from their clients. And there's a massive hive of activity, isn't it? So I just want to take a pause and say, look, with all this that's going on, and with all the pressures that are upon us and are upon our clients, let's not forget that. Our clients are the ones who are suffering. A lot of them are suffering really bad. Some are doing very well in certain industries and sectors, but an awful lot of them are suffering badly. And we're suffering because, things are constantly changing. I mean, we're not talking about the introduction of a budget and then the change to 2 budgets a year. No, it's changing virtually daily, isn't it? For instance, last Friday night, I think it was about 7 o'clock, the government put out the regs on the job support scheme. And then what happened? Saturday, it's gone and the furlough scheme's in. So, it's constantly for change. But one of the things I want to mention is, and I'm going to say it again, Brexit. I'm going to mention Brexit. I'll tell you for why, because the other day, all of us plopped into our inbox this wonderful piece of publicity from HMRC, in case we hadn't forgotten, that there was 100 days to go to the self-assessment deadline. 100 days. And as I said in my recent blog, it didn't cause an amount of trepidation, because let's be honest, we all know, we've been dealing with self-assessment for many years. We're on top of it. We know what we're doing. There was 100 days to go. But it struck me, did it? It struck me because I then sat and thought about this and thought, well, hold on, there's 100 days to the filing deadline, but actually there's a heck of a lot less, to the Brexit deadline. We're pulling out of Brexit. So I then went into my inbox, and I have a section in my inbox from emails regarding Brexit from HMRC, Treasury and all the rest of it. And I had a little gander around. And in a period of 9 days in my inbox, right, from the 14th of October, 15th of October, 16th of October and onwards, a period of 9 days, I had, get this, 70 emails regarding Brexit in my inbox, 70 emails. And it was on shed loads of different types of businesses, many of which we've got clients in, and it wasn't, but and they're coming in every day. I just want to run through just some. This is just some of the emails that plopped into my inbox in that short period of time. Importing and exporting plants from the EU from the 1st of January. We all must garden centres, we know that. Exporting animal and animal products to the EU from 1st of January. Importing and exporting live aquatic animals from 1st of January. Exporting horses and ponies from the 1st of January. Export fish to the EU from the 1st of January. The Border Operating Manual. Hell of a read, people. Importing animals, animal products and feed of animal origin from the 1st of January. Egg marketing standards from the 1st of January. Food and drink labelling changes from the 1st of January, and that's an important read. Fresh fruit and vegetable marketing standards from the 1st of January. Poultry meat marketing standards from the 1st of January. Pet travel to Europe from the 1st of January. Trading and labelling organic food from the 1st of January. So yeah, there were 70 emails in 9 days. And you know what? There was only 61 days to go when I started looking at it. 61 days. 70 emails. And yet, as I say, they are continuing to flood in. And yeah, if you start reading them, as I say, some of them are really mega important. If you start reading them, for example, I looked at the one entitled Export or Move Live Animals and Animal Products to the EU from the 1st of January. Yeah, and the thing's about 10 pages long. It's a huge thing. And the first thing it says, the very, very first thing it says in this, it says you will need to follow different guidance for pets, horses, fish and fishery products, live aquatic animals, endangered animals, and animals for display, research and conservation. So 10 whole pages, yeah, and it doesn't even mention horses. Seriously, we're all at a bit of a state at the moment, what with the lockdown coming in, and we're calls are coming in from our clients, and we're trying to get on top of that to enable to help them, and we're looking at all our own systems, because obviously we're trying to keep the staff away from the office, and we've got systems in place, and are they working well enough? And lurking in the background, ladies and gentlemen, is all these emails. And as I say, they are coming in at an alarming rate on this huge topic of Brexit. And as I say, if you do not have clients in these sectors that are going to come to you and going to start looking for help, I'm going to be very, very surprised. The concerns I have are not for sure that there's 100 days to go for the self-assessment deadline. The big concern I have is that when I was looking at this, there was less than 70 days to go to the exit from Brexit. And the last one, the very, very last email on that day that caught my eye was the very, very last one in that whole 70 was, you can't make this up, people, you can't. The last one was, time is running out for business to prepare. There you go. Time is running out for business to prepare. That plopped in my inbox, as I say, about 70 days, less than 70 days, 61 days before Brexit, and it says time is running out for business to prepare. Time may be running out for governments to prepare as well, mightn't it? But that's another issue. But I'm telling you all, this is going to come, and this is going to bite our legs big time as accountants. Our clients are going to need help, so we better get the old grey matter going and start looking at those going forward. Unless, of course, everything changes in the interim. One of the consequences of the pandemic this year and the upcoming Brexit, and shall I mention just after Brexit we've got upcoming change, the IR35 changes, and let's not forget our favourite VAT, the reverse charge. So the consequence, there's a huge amounts of upheaval and change in our world as accountants in practice. This is, irrefutable. This is absolutely irrefutable, and it's at its core, it's what we call compliance work, isn't it? It's making sure that our clients can comply with the law in the correct way and run their businesses effectively whilst compliant. It is the core of what we do as accountants, always has been. However, some have been constantly banging on about this ethereal world of advisory, as if it is the future of accountancy. And as I've consistently maintained, you cannot advise if you are not certain of the compliance. It's as simple and clear cut as that. You can't give advice if you do not have the bedrock of compliance set in place. And what I'm saying now is that the compliance work that we do is taking on a whole new aura, isn't it? We have to make sure, yeah, that we invest. We find the time, first of all, ladies and gentlemen. We find the time in our days and possibly nights if there's only you or very short staff. You know, you find the time to get up to date, to learn, to see what's happening. You cannot rely on a computer program sorting these things out. To a huge extent with APIs and so on, we can, you know, we're able to get tax returns and things done quicker and simpler. Yes, we can, but you cannot rely on things like, you know, can you get in and out the furlough scheme and so on, and all the things that are going on. You can't rely on that. You need to rely on yourself and your staff and your own ability. And in order to do that, you need to invest the time. You, your staff, have got to invest the time. Now, there's a huge amount coming up. We have all the changes with the furlough. We've got staff not working at home, so, you know, they're working in a completely different environment. We've got to be aware of their well-being. We have to keep maintaining contact with our staff, make sure everything's okay, see what they're doing, make sure that any problems they're having with clients are relayed and we can get them resolved. We've got to make sure of that. We've got to maintain contact with our clients, because obviously we're concerned about them for their futures business, and some of them, you know, you can say have probably been friends, so we're getting a little bit concerned about them individually as well. But we have to find the time to make sure that we understand the compliance elements of what's going on with this pandemic. And then, as I said in my earlier part to this video blog, Brexit's coming. There is unbelievable amounts of changes. You have to look at your practice. You have to look at your client base. You should, believe me, you should be able to understand what sectors and which clients are going to be affected biggest by the Brexit. You know, those who are importing, who are or exporting. So you should be able to know that, so you can maybe narrow down some of your studying and learning. Yeah, you can't just go. Believe me, as I said, it's impossible to just hit the whole lot because it's far too much. So you need to work on that. Then you're going to have to start thinking, as I say, we're going to have IR35 changing next year. We're going to have the wretched VAT reverse charge, which will probably finish us all off possibly. But all of this is coming. This is where compliance comes to the fore. All these people who talk a great job about talking about advisory and everybody, right? You know, they're not going to be the ones who are going to help you understand, can you re-furlough someone? Can your what percentage of claim are you going to get based on for your self-employed claim? No, they're not going to help you for that. Compliance is important, and compliance is now the king. And in order to do that, you have to invest the time, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just keep firing off a quick question to a chat box and say, does anybody know? You know, use your own intelligence, take the time, do the research. And you know what? We will come out at the other end, but it's not going to be a smooth ride by any means. Compliance is important. Never in my time as an accountant in practice, and I've been doing this an awful long time, never has it been so important. At this point in my video blog presentations, I normally like to highlight an individual ICPA member benefit. For those of you who maybe not picked up on it, or maybe not making the best use of the benefit. Today, bearing in mind what we were discussing earlier on, how important compliance is and how we have to keep on top of our game, I'm going to talk to you about the very first ICPA member benefit that we put all those years ago when we started, and that was from our very good friends and colleagues in Bristol, Qtac Payroll. As I say, they were the very first benefit that came to the ICPA, and remember, they provide a massive 25% discount on their product. 25%. Now, it's payroll. One of the things that we know is, you know, with furloughing, you know, you have to enter it in manually and so on. But what I'm saying here is payroll one always used to say, wasn't it, that payroll can be it's a straightforward process. You get a few keystrokes and you get it sorted with a decent piece of software, a few keystrokes and you can run it. You don't need to charge a huge amount of money, and it can be a very profitable piece investment for the business. Now what we're saying is, maybe you might want to consider taking a step back with the amount of work that's coming up in the next few years, or certainly in the next year, the amount of work that's coming our way. And if you're a small practice with a small number of employees, you may want to sit and think to this, say, hold on, we've got to make the best with what we've got and make sure we get the best out of all our time and our staff. Payroll, yes, it's vitally important. This might be the year you might want to consider, passing the payroll off out of your day-to-day running and passing it on to a bureau. Yeah, get the bureau to look after your payroll, and this is where Qtac can come in. They run bureaus. They've got massive bureaus that they take care of. They look after all of the payroll questions from your clients, and they can handle your payroll and free up your staff to, get on top of all the other things that are going to be coming up in the new year. Yes, it will take a small amount of your profit margin, but you might be able to easily recover that somewhere else. Payroll, can very easily be outsourced, and with everything that is going on, this might be the one that you can turn around and say, we can outsource this. These guys are in Bristol, they're down the road for most. They're in Bristol and they can handle it, and they've been doing it for a long time now. So maybe you want to pass that on to them. And as I say, there's huge discounts available for that. But if you don't, and you're looking at your own software and you want to carry on, there's nothing wrong in that by any means. As I say, if you're not using Qtac, and if you're not sure, if you're getting the best out of the software you're using, just remember 25% off for an ICPA member for Qtac Payroll. Think about that.